It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Miles Morales, an Afro-Latino teen who develops powers when bitten by a spider, is the new friendly neighborhood superhero of one of the games kicking off PlayStation's new console generation this week. As praise for the character's portrayal and the game itself piles up, let's explore the beginning of a new era for gaming. Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is such an incredible game. I've been playing quite a fair share of it this weekend. Kervin is swinging through the city. It is an expansion, or it's kind of an addition to the original Spider-Man, and they've remastered the original Spider-Man and then threw this in as an extra, a whole bunch of missions. We would, back in the day, as old people, we'd call it DLC.
DLC.
Downloadable content or expansion packs. But it's its own game in and of itself, even if it's a little bit shorter. What is it like swinging through the city there?
It is amazing swinging through the city. It really feels like you're Spider-Man.
Look at that. Like, there are people on the rooftop that was behind you. You should go back and go have a look at them. I want you to make your way to Times Square, because I want people to see some of the features that they've actually added into this game. Because it's a launch title for a new generation console, they have to show off all the cool new features in it. And some of the new cool features are ray tracing. AMD is in charge of the hardware behind this, and AMD are beasts when it comes to what they've built behind the console. And ray tracing and a new GPU means that there is incredible performance when it comes to lighting effects, but also when it comes to frame rate. And to show that off, there's two different modes. We are currently showing the fidelity mode, which means that we're going to be showing some of the ray tracing. It runs at 30 FPS, which is 30 frames a second, so you won't have any cut in performance if you've got an older TV, because that's how most games are run, at 30 FPS on older consoles. But if you've got a higher end TV with a higher end performance, you might want to be able to see the 120 frames a second, which is really cool. So let's get into Times Square. And once we're in Times Square, I want to show you some of the lighting effects. Ray tracing. Do you want to explain a little bit of ray tracing, Kevin?
So ray tracing is basically a fancy little technology, and it basically does ambient lighting occlusion. So it's a very fancy term.
Ambient lighting occlusion, guys.
So basically you have lighting that can penetrate through different objects. You have light reflections that are coming off real time of objects in the world, we've never had before. That level of detail we've never seen before.
No, you're in Harlem now. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Oh, I was following the objective.
No, get outside. I want to see, let's get into the street. Let's jump into the street there. I want to see some of the lights on the
You
ground.
can go down at the bottom.
Yes. Look at how many people, just look at, there's no performance stutters, which a game at this size you would expect. I mean, a lot of people have played games, open world games like GTA, and would expect to see this. But as you can see, the light is actually penetrating the windows and the glass, even the reflections on the ground. Have a look at some of those reflections. You should be able to see that stuff at home. Look at over here, this over here. And that means that ray tracing is actually real light that is being portrayed in the game. It's not like it's made up. They've actually simulated what light does in real life, which is really impressive. Really impressive particle effects, obviously with the new console and the new GPU, which is like steam, smoke, snow. Yep. We are in New York in Christmas time, and that's no coincidence. They wanted to show off the Christmas lights. They wanted to show off the snow effects. They wanted to show off the steam coming out of the New York gutters. I've been fortunate to attend New York as if it was an event.
It was an event.
I've been fortunate to go check it out, so you can see a lot of that. And also, just being able to play Spider-Man as a new character when you are playing usually as Peter Parker is really cool. We're going to chat a little bit later about who Miles Morales is,
Yep.
but if you have not played Spider-Man or watched Into the Spider-Verse, you might not know who Miles Morales is, but he is the new Spider-Man. They have crafted an entirely new story around Spider-Man. As you can see, he's got a Latino mom, an African-American father, and that puts him at a very interesting position in the city. And Spider-Man kind of leaves the city for a while. He's going away to Europe with MJ, and as a result, he's been given the throne to be the Spider-Man to look after New York City in Peter Parker's absence. And that leads to a very exciting turn of events. And I don't want to spoil the story for anybody that hasn't played the game. Really interesting villains. Of course, Spider-Man always is about those interesting villains. And of course, you get these new effects. This isn't only just available on the PlayStation 5, it is also available on the PlayStation 4. So you can still play it, but you're going to be missing out on all these spectacular effects. Let's have a look at these lights over here. I want you to go up to like a window, a store. Is there a shopfront window?
Let's find one.
Let's find a shopfront window and get into that. so that you can see the reflections and so on. So you see all the reflections of all the street cars that are coming up behind him. Those are real reflections. There's Spider-Man's reflection in the window. Show people a little bit of that. There we go. That's really Spider-Man in the window. You know when you play like a game and something impresses you, like when you play Red Dead Redemption and you walk in front of a mirror and you're like, wait, that's my character really there? They put all that effort into it. That's what they've done with the entire city of New York in this. There's never a moment that doesn't astound you. And when you swing through the city, you get to, like the sound effects of all the people like calling out Spider-Man's name, and you can get to see yourself reflected in all the buildings. There's the Avengers building, the big red one, yeah, in the back, which is really cool. So it is kind of the real New York City, but with the Avengers building, because that wasn't there the last time I went, but I went there before Corona, so I don't know what's been happening in New York City since I've gone. Maybe the Avengers is coming through to save the day. Yeah, so if you are interested in getting a brand new console game that really shows off your new PlayStation 5, Spider-Man Miles Morales is the game. Have you got anything to add to that?
Well, the game is a fantastic game, not just for how it looks, but actually how it plays as well. It really makes you feel like you are Spider-Man. And the actual action in it makes it feel like proper comic book style action sequences. You really feel like in the...
Look at your reflection, even in the marble. Even in the marble. They didn't even, in those games, they just put it in like, in the reflections in a mirror, but they're in the marble and in the glass, it's there, which is so impressive. I love it when they put so much effort into video games. It just makes me so happy.
And the thing with previous console games, you could do that before, but it wasn't dynamically generated, was static images art there. This is being generated on the fly, all the stuff, and makes it amazing.
So my opinion, my rating is 9 out of 10. That's where I think that, it's pretty much the perfect game for a launch title.
It's a brilliant showcase for the console's capabilities.
Yeah, it's really cool. Anyway, what is your rating?
I would say the same.
Okay, 9 out of 10. Well, we're in cahoots. We're in collaboration. Well, we certainly are excited for this new take on a familiar favorite and can't wait to see our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man on the next generation of consoles. We are going to be talking a little bit about Miles Morales and the character. Kevin is a comic book expert, so if you want to be clued up and know exactly what you're talking about with Spider-Man, Kevin's the person that will be taking the helm on that.